Shamiso Jubane is a gifted musician whose passion is to express God's heart and lead his people to a place of relationship and worship and personal encounter with Jesus. Having started her career as a church worship team leader, Shamiso has also worked with so many recording artists as a backup vocalist and has finally taken the bold step towards a solo career. She believes that her gift in music is for her to lead people into a relationship with God so that they realize their true identity in Him. Shamiso joins us now in studio. A very good morning to you, Shamiso. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's really awesome to be here.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
Because, you know, your smile just lights up the studio.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Take us through your musical journey. I understand that you started singing in church when you were, what, 10 years old?
I was.
Yeah.
So I started singing in church when just as you said, I was 10 years old. I was singing in the children's church.
Wow.
And it was incredible when I remember, just think back to those times. Those were some of the best years of just...
I can imagine.
Yeah, being a little kid, you know, being so excited to go to church because of just the worship that we would get to have and experience. It just gave me from a young age such a sense of purpose. Yeah.
So is it something that you did voluntarily, or did your family push you to do it, just seeing your talent?
You know, my family did not push me to do it. However, my brother was very pivotal when I was a little girl, and sometimes I'd be sweeping in the house and cleaning. I'd break out into song, and my brother would say, "Wait, can you sing again? Like, you have such a good voice."
Oh, wow.
So I didn't think much of it, honestly. And then, you know, I'm so grateful. I encountered Jesus. I got born again at 10 years old. I was really young, and very grateful that I got to experience that at such a young age. And from there, I found that space of worship, and yeah.
That is
awesome.
so incredible. You got born again at 10?
Yes.
Did you at that age understand what it means to be, you know, to be in a relationship with God, or to have a personal encounter with God?
You know, to be honest, I remember how significantly it changed me. It changed my heart. I don't think I fully understood, but I remember countless nights of being a 10-year-old and in my bedroom crying because I was overwhelmed by the love of Jesus. Like, now when I look back, that was actually Him in my room, His presence with me, you know?
Wow.
And yeah, it was remarkable, very remarkable.
And how has your background in Christianity helped you, you know, be grounded and develop this passion for gospel music?
You know, I would say I'm so grateful for the foundation of just knowing God.
Yes.
You know, I think initially, just for a lot of artists, you know, you really want to get your art out there. You know, it's like you're almost like born with this desire. Not everyone, but most of us are just born with this desire to get the music out there. I found that in my journey, it didn't play out that way per se. You know, I really found that, you know, God really desired more than just releasing my music to have a personal relationship with me. And He, just for me to desire that relationship more than the music itself, you know.
Have you established what God's desire is apart from music? I mean, have you discovered your sense of purpose?
I would honestly say that, you know, worship is my purpose. And I think it's everyone's purpose. We've all been created to worship Him. And I think the challenge sometimes is we think that music is worship, but worship is in everything that we do, in how we love people, in how you treat the person at the robot, in how you show kindness to a stranger. So for me, I would definitely say, like, I think I've discovered that worship is not the music. Music is an expression of worship, one of the expressions. But I would definitely say, like, there's so much more to it, and my identity is in that, knowing that I was created for relationship with Him. Yeah, for intimacy with Him.
Got you.
Yeah.
You know what I was told, Shamiso, is that if you do good to someone else, then that on its own is ministry. Because if someone else looks at you doing something good to other people, then they'll be like, hey, Simpiwe is such a good man. I want to be like him. I want to follow, you know, the kind of work that he does.
I love that. And it's so true. You know, I just think about 1 Corinthians 13 and how it speaks about walking in love.
Sure.
And how we can prophesy, we can do all these amazing things. I could do all this music, but without the foundation of love, it's all in vain. And so I completely agree that I think at the heart of what we do, walking in love, loving people, just being able to be an extension of God's love to people is just so pivotal, more than just the music.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And speaking of music, let's talk about your singles, To Lift Him Up. How that song came about?
Yeah, so a couple of years ago, a group of just young people, we were on fire for God, we loved God, and we would come together just to spend time with no agenda, no song list, just to worship, but spontaneous worship. And so we would spend hours just in the presence of God, just, you know, singing praises to God. And To Lift You Up is one of the songs that just came from like a spontaneous moment. And, you know, I went back and I was like, there's something here. And just added to it. And then it became the song that it is now.
I mean, if you speak of spontaneous worship, that is God at work.
It is.
Definitely God at work.
Out of just the abundance of our hearts, just loving on Him. And you can't help it, like songs of deliverance, songs of praise to Him they'll flow out of you, you know? Yeah, so that's exactly what it was.
How would you classify your music? Would you say that it's more leaning towards being worship music or praise music?
To be honest, I would say my music is more like gospel contemporary. It's like like a combination. It has like a freshness to it, like an urban sort of thing to it. But I would say it's both. You know, I don't really like differentiate, even though I do differentiate the worship and the praise. But I would say it's a combination.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say it's a combination.
You know, just listening to you, Shamiso, I get the feeling, and I'm very much convinced that you are preaching what you're telling me. You know, just listening to you, I know that your music is ministry, but you and I can agree that there are some gospel artists who are just doing it for the money. How do you feel about that?
You know, I would not judge. I would not speak a statement to judge at all, you know, but I definitely would just say, I can't imagine how it maybe would make God feel, how it makes God feel, you know, because His heart is for His people, you know, and this is why, you know, we spoke about the foundation of love being so crucial. And for me, my journey has taken me down a path where at some point I had to lay the music down just so that God could build character in me. And be like, this is great, but this is not necessarily the end goal. The end goal. Yeah, you know, and I'm a preschool teacher, and one of the things that we always say is it's about the process and not necessarily the outcome, you know, of a child's art, for instance. And so for me, it's been a journey of recognizing that process is so much more important than the outcome. And so I would just say, like, I definitely think it would be sad that people are doing it for money, but I think God's heart is when you go through the process and you allow Him to just mold you and just make us more like Him, there's no way you would do it for money.
Absolutely.
No way.
Shami, so lovely chatting to you, man.
So lovely chatting to you. Yeah.